Hello everybody. I would like to show you this miniature will be my new project on Kickstarter. This is my own project. I would like to show you my miniature on Patreon because it's real my own project, and I would like to show you because I'm so happy with this miniature. I've decided to show you this project because it's very hard paint reds, and I'm going to show you a new trick. I think easy to paint reds. Okay. More things. I've decided to create this on this video to show you a new way to paint, and yeah, it's maybe a new way to paint because I've skipped some first steps because I show you in another videos, and I would like to know your opinion about this new method to show you. This video will be longer than usual. I usually thought about videos shorter because I will try to focus the attention on the people that have a job and don't have enough time to watch my videos, and I thought if I focus all the attention on short time will be better for you. But if you think that you want to know my brush stroke longer, more time painting, okay, I'm going to test this new video. So for this video, remember, will be longer, but I'm going to speak maybe the same than in the others. I will be more time in silence. Maybe for you it's better because you don't need listen to me all the time. So come back to the video. I hope you enjoy this kind of painting. Remember this red color. I thought about the skin because it's easy to show you, and because I would like reinforce more attention on the skin, because the truth is paint a non-metallic metal it's easier than paint a true skin or a real or better skin. Why? Because it's so difficult to understand how the skin works. So when you paint something organic, it's always moving and the volumes it's different. So I'm going to show you a little trick to create better volumes. The trick is easy. You should join or link all muscles because all the body works together and you need to link them. So if you want to create a great skin, remember, try to link every time, every layer, all muscles, because if you don't link them, the problems will be like, maybe it will look more like a non-metallic armor than skin. Okay, remember, we'll use copy layers, copy bases. This is just a joke, but the truth is if you paint with thicker layers, will be so easy to paint faster. You will have a real great sketch, and then with airbrush will be very easy to blend and get a smooth surface. So why I choose this project? Because the non-metallic miniature I paint, the Night Avenger, I think is the name. I can show you now. This is the rules. I must follow the rules. Sorry. And I've decided to show you this one. Don't worry, because the next miniature, the miniature will be next maybe. And keep calm, just that. So remember, as for this model or all the models, remember, try to discomp in different volumes. Remember, spheres, cylinders and cube. I don't want to hurt square, okay? Or rectangle. This is not a volume. Remember that when you paint a red skin, don't use bright reds, because if you use bright reds, the final result maybe will look more a toys from China, similar, but than a model kit or an artistic miniature, because we look more the red from Coca-Cola, Coke, than a skin. So to control the value of the bright and the light will be very easy if you mix with brownish or orange color or skin tones, okay, with red. Will be easier to control, and for you maybe will be easier to create the layers. Maybe will cover better than if you use directly red, okay, because I know the red color, it's very hard to paint. Don't worry, because I'm going to show you in another videos how to paint bright color, bright red, okay, and bright yellow too, because I know these both colors are very difficult to paint them. Keep the attention on the hands, okay. This is very important, because if you don't paint well, the sides of the hand will look more or less like this, okay, one side, the other side, and this is okay. But if you move a little bit, you create different volumes and different value of the lights. This is the trick. If you create more expression with the hands, the final result will be better, because the face and the hands are the most important parts of the miniature, because have more expression, okay, will give more expression on your miniature. As for this point, I've recorded the video on this point of view, because I'm trying to test if it's interesting or not. I thought maybe will be interesting because I can move more in front of the miniature, not always in the same side. But if it's not so good, don't worry, because we'll change it for another point of view. I'm trying to give you a great experience with my videos, and for that reason I would like hear your propose, if it's interesting this point of view with the angle of the camera, or you want the normal way. Maybe in this one you will see maybe more time my hand, but maybe it's more front of view. I'm testing just that, okay. So I would like to know it is good or not, okay. Remember, as I said, each layer you should link all muscles. Don't worry if you paint with 8 layers or 9 layers, you won't remove the detail. Maybe you will remove the detail if you paint with glazes, because all the time the pigment of the paints, it's always on the same way and stop close to the detail, and maybe this is the problem when you remove the detail. For example, in the hand, if you paint all the time with glazes, the first time the color will be inside, okay, and that part on the folds, in the folds. If you paint with 8 layers, maybe that part you won't cover it well, and it's all the time inside of the fingers, and this is the real problem. If you paint with a copy layer, a copy base, you will cover it with 1 layer and it's enough. You don't need more layers, and if you need 2, okay, 2 layers, but no more, okay. I think it's easier, faster, and the result, you know, it's like my miniature. If you like my miniature, this is the way to paint. If you don't feel that it's smooth, remember, we'll use the airbrush, this lovely tool, to blend them, okay. So keep calm, because the airbrush will fix it. Remember, always get enough contrast, but don't use a darkest color and the lightest color directly. Try to play with mid-tones, okay? This is the beautiful in the miniature and the easy way to create big volumes with big contrast, okay? Play with the mid-tones. A new trick. For a skin like this, you can play with different reds, orange, yellows. Don't worry about that. If you feel that you need more bright color, the brightest in the color, you need more red, It's easy because you will blend them with a bright color, bright red, and you will recover this saturation of the color. But remember, don't paint with the brightest color on the skin because it will look like toy. Okay, you can play with different nuances to get more information on the skin, but I don't recommend you use green, because if you use green now in the lights, maybe will be weird if you use in the shadows, because you will have the same color in lights and shadow, and this is not a problem. But if you use the green in the shadows, maybe you will get the contrast about the color. You will get big contrast with the complementary color, and I think it will be easier for you if you use just in the shadow than in the midtones or lights. Remember, use browns like skin tones, reds, orange, yellow, but don't use blue or green, at least in the midtones. If you want to use them, but take care, because then if you will use in the shadows, maybe you will have not little problems, but will look similar in some parts, and I'm just trying to show you how to fix it before you will paint on this way, okay? I'm thinking in advance. Remember, paint that part, it's important, okay? I don't know the name now in English. So if you need to reinforce the volume of the face, remember that it's the tiny part, the most important part. But then if you need to remove layers and paint with more contrast, you can do it. Now it's just to create your own sketch. With more layers will be easier then to fix it, to blend it. But if you don't feel, maybe you feel that with 3 layers is enough, okay, it's enough. But remember, if you want to add more layers then, or create more contrast, just you remove with the last layer, remove the first one of the two before layers, and then paint with more layers over this. It's easy, it's just fix all the time, create a sketch as you like. And remember, try to move the light to the top of the miniature. I don't want to say that you should have the light here on the top of the shoulder, on the top of the head, but try to move in the front of the miniature, on the chest or similar, okay? Try to move all the time with different layers to the top. With this way, you will get a zenithal light and will be a good light, okay? But you will paint all the volumes and you will have different value about the light with all the miniature together, and in each muscle, each material. Remember, keep the attention on the hands. It's very, very important. This is the second part with more expression of the body, the face and then the hands. And remember, it's most important that if you paint the fingers on that side, okay, with the same light, and then blend with the airbrush, than if you don't paint them, okay? Because if you don't paint them, you won't have information here, and at the final step you will say, maybe I should paint with a mid-tone, and if you paint now, it will be easier in the future. Check how I mix now my new mix. I create with different tone just to create different nuances with the color. If you create the contrast about color, it's other kind of contrast that you don't need to think all the time with the light. If you create the contrast with color, maybe it's interesting because you will play them with the airbrush with different nuances too, and you will create more information all together on the skin, because as I said, all the body, all organic material works all together. Remember, reinforce every time the muscles in small areas. Think that the body is a cylinder all together, and each muscle it's like a cylinder or a sphere. Okay, that part of the body, the abs, think about spheres in each one, but remember, link them, because if you don't link them, the final result, remember, will look like a non-metallic armor. Is the trick? The most important thing when you paint with copy bases or copy layers, it's try to don't have streaks on the layer, because if you have streaks, the problem is, but then with the airbrush will be complicated to fix it. But don't care about where, if you see where you have when you started and where you finished the layer, because this is not a problem. The problem is or will be if inside the layer you have streaks. Take a look how I paint the shoulder. I'm trying to create every time a sphere, but step by step, taking care to create well all the sphere together. And remember, take a special care when you paint the hands. For example, if you paint the knuckles with light, respect that part with shadows, okay? Because we'll create the tension or expression on the hand, okay? It's very important too. Now you can see more or less how this sketch work, and without blending you can see more or less interesting light, interesting volumes. And remember, if you need more light, it's the moment. If you think that you need more midtones or shadows, keep calm, because then with airbrush we'll create them. Very easy, you know, if you check other videos you will know it. I usually paint this kind of layers with number 2. It's a Winsor & Newton brush. It's my number 2. I don't know if I have one here. No, I don't have, sorry. I will show you on the screen. It's a number 2. It's thicker than maybe your brush, but I think it's very easy to control when you start to paint. And then with your number 1, it's perfect to define well, okay, for the final details. But to create a sketch faster, you will load more paint and you will play, I think, better with a good point with your number 2. The trick with the brush is not how big or small is the brush, it's the point. If the point is so good, You can paint an eye, for example, the eyes, directly with the number 2. Sometimes I paint them, okay, but just when it's completely new or more or less new. But it's true that you can load more paint, and it's very easy to paint than if you need to load every time again paint, okay. Remember, as for the face, we try to create at the beginning all the volume together, all the volume of the face, but then we'll move the light to the front of the view, okay, toward the middle, like a cylinder. If you think that you didn't paint well the light here, okay, for example, that part is without information, paint them now. You can paint again here the light, and then just create more layers moving here, okay, to create a tension in the middle, in the front, on the front of the miniature. Take care when you paint the face. If you need to paint with thinner layers, create a new mix, thinner, if you feel that you will remove the detail. I think you won't remove them, okay, the details, the volumes, but taking care, you can paint creating the volumes. Remember, as I said, thinking about the cylinder and moving all the light in the front, okay, but that part should be have volumes. Another trick for this miniature have bird, and you should paint with dark color, but if you don't have it, or you can make a trick, it's paint here the light, okay, you make here a volume with shadow, the light will be on the cheekbone and on the jaw, okay, you will create more expression than if you have here shadow, because the problem if you have here shadow, it's you lose the muscle, okay, you lose the jaw. Maybe in the next video I'm going to show you how I did the freehand. Just for advanced students. Can you see now with these final touches, it's like bumping up. All the muscles start to work very well together. You can have a great contrast, enough to blend them. Okay, remember, if you don't have enough contrast, then when you blend with airbrush, you will remove some details, some information, some muscles. If you have enough contrast, like now, then it will be so easy blend with airbrush. Remember, we want a smooth surface, but with enough contrast. If we don't have enough contrast, if your surface is smooth too, maybe you don't have a big information, and maybe the viewers will tell you, okay, maybe you need more contrast. We'll create more contrast now. This is the moment to create the contrast, the sketches. This is the moment to play. Enjoy painting with the brush, because the airbrush is very easy and it's just a tool. With the brush you will play with color, with lights, with texture, with everything. This is the most important thing. Enjoy painting with the brush. Remember, always paint toward the light. Every time, every layer, move the light to the top of the miniature. Okay, this is our video. I hope you like this new kind of videos. If you don't like it, please tell me, because this kind of videos is for you, and I will give you the best experience of my passion. I think this kind of red is easier to paint than with other kind of reds, and I'm going to show you then how to paint with brightest red, but for this time try to paint with this kind of reds. I think will be easy and you will enjoy painting on this way. I hope you like it. See you in the next video, my friend. Bye.